Back in the second week of May, you may have seen my video called Market Update, Housing Market in a Recession, Should You Worry? In that report, I showed projections by economists on when they believed the next recession was likely to occur. That chart looked like this when nearly half of the economists surveyed thought the recession was likely to happen before the end of 2020. Well, they've changed their minds, and that's no longer the case. Hi, I'm Bob Woolverton. I'm with Pure Real Estate in Bellevue, Washington. Here on YouTube, I'm known as your Northwest Realty Advisor. When we come back after this 8-second break, I'll share the results of a new survey by the Wall Street Journal and show you what economists are thinking now. So stick around. So back in the month of May, I showed you this chart. This chart showed the combined results of 4 different surveys to show what economists thought regarding when the next recession might be coming. And after all, we've had the longest economic recovery in history, and we all know what goes up sooner or later is gonna come down. It's inevitable. The real question is not if, but when. In this chart, you see 68% of economists thought the recession would occur prior to the end of 2020. Well, we still have a strong economy. Earnings reports have been strong. There's positive momentum in trade talks with China. And all of this has caused the economists to change their view of the future, according to a new survey conducted by the Wall Street Journal. Now, this chart shows what economists are thinking now. Now, the percentage of economists who think a recession will occur before the end of 2020 has been cut in half and stands at 34.2%. Now, a smaller number than before, 63.5%, think the next recession will occur before the end of 2021. Now, here's the really important part to understand. We've had recessions in the past, and one of those was the direct result of a housing market collapse. But that housing market collapse was caused by fraudulent lending in the mortgage loan industry. A typical recession is defined by a reduction in the GDP for 2 or more consecutive quarters. In this chart from Federal Reserve Economic Data, or FRED, shows all the previous recessions represented by the vertical gray bars on the chart, and the blue line, or the blue trend line, is tracking home prices in the United States during that time. And the recession that caused home prices to go down the most was the fraudulent lending practices of 2008. In all the other recessions, as defined by a reduction in the GDP, home prices continued to rise despite the recession going on at the time, with the exception of the 1991 recession, where home prices dropped by only 1.9%. Now, here's a bar graph depicting the same information you're seeing on the FRED chart. Here you can see 2 of the recessions, home prices continued to appreciate by over 6%, and 1 year by 3.5%. So when our next recession does occur, it will likely be due to trade wars, trade talks, reduced earnings and sales on the retail front, not from fraudulent mortgage lending practices. So in the next recession, you're more likely to see an impact of the housing market consistent with the first 4 recessions shown on this chart. And I know there's a lot of negative headlines in the media. They are negative headlines because negative headlines get more clicks. And along that line, last week I read an article in the Seattle Times that had a negative headline about an upcoming recession. And the first half of the article talked about a survey taken several months ago that showed wealthy investors were putting their money into cash to protect their assets from a recession. However, the second half of that article said that since the survey was taken several months ago, the economic climate has changed and investors were putting their money back into the stock market. But that second half of the article wasn't in the headline. And stuff like that really makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I can't afford to have any of my remaining hair follicles stressed. So news media, stop printing deceptive headlines like that. And you as a reader, make sure you read the entire article and understand the bigger picture. Don't just read the headline and assume that's a summation of the economy, because it'll probably be wrong. I hope you found value in today's video. If you did, click that subscribe button and click that reminder bell. That reminder bell will notify you when I post new videos. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. That's feedback to me that I'm giving you information of value. And finally, please share this link with someone you know who can benefit from the information on this YouTube channel. You can find my email address and my telephone number in the description below and at the end of this video. Call me or email me. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to represent you in your next real estate transaction. I'm Bob Woolverton. I'm with Pure Real Estate in Bellevue, Washington. Here on YouTube, I'm known as your Northwest Realty Advisor. Every Tuesday morning at 7 a.m., I post new videos about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, as well as some home tours and listing videos. I'll see you next week.